Good afternoon, everyone. I'm back. I'm home. As you can see, there's Sassafras and Raz behind me, and we've got Ari and Atlas over there. I have been away for 6 weeks, and it's given me a lot of perspective and gratitude, and I almost don't know where to start. I have missed you all. I'm glad to see you, Sylvia. You're here for tea time. I was so excited coming out to see my horses that I forgot my tea, but I will make sure and have tea for tea time next time. I have been in Mongolia for 4 weeks, a brief stop in Switzerland between adventures, and then I've been in Iceland for a couple of weeks as well. And I think the biggest takeaway I have from all of this is how grateful I am for what I get to come back to. And this plays a big part in all of our training with horses as well. I think that there's a balance between adventure and excitement and peace and harmony and gratitude. And both have a place for us in the world that we live with horses. So when we're training horses, some of your interactions will be interesting and novel and new and exciting. And some of your interactions are going to be so easy and smooth that they almost don't make a mark in your memory the same way. And I talk about in horse training a lot. I really think the ratio is supposed to be about 80-20. If you can have about 80% of your time in your relationships with your horses where it's effortless and easy and smooth, and you're building habits of luxury, then in the contrasting moments where something's not good enough, something needs to change, there needs to be a little pressure applied or activity, whatever it is that you choose to do, whether you choose to focus on activity or you choose to focus on pressure, the need for change is real. And I think all of us seek a little bit of excitement in our lives at some time, and that includes our horses as well. Now, you build habits around this 80-20 concept. So if 80% of the time you're seeking excitement, that becomes the habit and the pattern. And you continue to 80% of the time look for something dramatic or new or novel or changing or pressure or action. There's nothing wrong with that. But my observation throughout all of my training is that depending on how you set up your habits and your patterns, you will need more or less tools and pressure, methods of pressure, methods of force. So if you ride a horse and you spend most of your time looking for excitement and novelty and change, you're probably going to need your bridle. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of good trainers who teach really good ways to use your bridle and use your pressure and fit your bit and make sure that everything is as organized as possible for the excitement that you're seeking. After my journey around the world, I actually did go all the way around the world to the west this time. So I flew from Seattle, I flew from Friday Harbor to Seattle, and then I flew from Seattle to Korea, and I transferred at the Seoul airport to fly all the way to Mongolia, to Ulaanbaatar, and I spent a month in Mongolia traveling from the southern Gobi Desert all the way north into the reindeer country. And then from there we went back to Ulaanbaatar, and then we flew to Zurich. and spent a couple days there. Thank you, Claudia, for hosting Cameron and I. And then from Zurich, we flew on to Iceland, and I spent a couple of weeks there. Thank you, Sylvia, for hosting us there. And then from Iceland, we flew home again. So I have been all the way around the globe in the last 6 weeks. And the feeling it's left me with is a feeling of intense gratitude for the fact that I can seek adventure and novelty and learning this way. And I can gather so much knowledge, but it's not most of my life. It is a portion of my life. And then 80% of the time, I can be here in the pasture with my horses, appreciating the ease that I have, appreciating the fact that 99% of my training is about developing horses and relationships without tools, without a bridle, without a halter, without food rewards, without an excess of scratching, without tall fences to hold them close to me. You take away all those things, and what it does is it forces you into habits and patterns of ease, because relationships don't stay together very well if there's excess excitement. So, I call it excess excitement because this is the life I've chosen. I have this intense luxury to choose a life where I build habits of ease and patterns of cooperation. And this is a luxury. I don't have to have, in Mongolia they have mares so that the mares can have foals, so that they can milk the mares all summer, so that they can make cheese and yogurt and drink the milk from the mares to survive. Now, that's changing in the modern world, but for a long time, horses were a way of life for the Mongolian people. It was about survival. And when you are using the horses to survive, you don't always have the luxury of 80% ease. Life is harder than that. And so you develop the tools to be able to manage how hard your life is, how much excitement you include in your life, how much novelty and change and all of those things. So I went to Mongolia to step in someone else's footsteps. I went to Mongolia to walk in someone else's path, see life from their perspective. And I'm really glad I get to come back to this life. But I would encourage all of you, when you get a chance, if life feels hard, if it feels like it's out of your control, you have to make the most of a situation that maybe is more pressured than you want. And I think a lot of people have this when you're training. Your horse wants to run away from you, but there's a busy road next to you, and you need to use the halter to make sure they don't run onto the busy road. There are times when life gets exciting enough that you will need to manage it. What I would like to give everybody, and I will continue to do this in as many different ways as I can, is I would like to give people choices. You can build your life the way you would like to build your life to some extent. And if you are spending 80% of your time with your horse building ease and cooperation, you will not need so many tools of management: halters, bridles, fences, food rewards, things like that. If you want to shape your life differently and you want a lot of novelty and excitement and the unknown and pressure, there's nothing wrong with that. But that tends to drive a wedge between horse and human. This is why people ride with a bridle, or they ride with a pocket full of carrots or sugar cubes to treat the horse. Those reward mechanisms or pressure mechanisms allow you to build habits of higher intensity and higher excitement. I think you can still do an amazing amount of things with your horse. but you get to choose. Do you want more excitement and novelty and unknown in your relationship, or do you want more peace and harmony and ease? And then you get to take action on it. And so I'm going to continue here, sharing tea time every week, sharing my online courses, sharing my lectures and my clinics, and show people what their options are. And then everybody gets to go home and build the habits with their horse that they want to have. And that's exciting to me. I am going to continue to probably take 6 weeks off every year at some point to go step in someone else's footsteps, to travel a path that might be higher excitement or greater novelty or use more tools. And that gives me really good contrast in my brain, so I can think more clearly when I come home and I say, yes, I am going to choose with my horses to spend more time in peace and harmony and ease and developing patterns where I don't need so many tools. So those are my thoughts on coming back from Mongolia and Iceland. I am eternally grateful to all the people who let me ride their horses, let me experience their life a little bit, let me step in their shoes and see how they feel and how they live and what habits they build, and let me take that on for a moment for contrast. Because now when I'm home, dang, it's good to be home. So good. So I really just got here and I'm going to go work with my horses. I'm going to practice being in harmony with them in a million different ways. I am going to practice 20% novelty, but I'm going to do it within the range that they don't want to leave me, because that's the way I choose to live. And you guys get to take home whatever of that is useful to you. So thank you for joining me for tea time. I look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks. I'll be here every Tuesday, and I will let you know as the schedule develops for the upcoming year. Thank you.